Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report Podcast, Energized by Celsius. It is a Thursday edition of the show, and we got a very special show as we are joined by Bucs defensive lineman Will Gholston. I'm your host, Matt Matera, and joined with me is the face that runs the place, SR. But you know about us. We want to get right into it and talk with our guy, Will Gholston. Will, how are you doing today? And thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it, Will.
Oh, no doubt. Thanks for inviting me. I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. We didn't have to work out today in the hot sun, so I don't have any sweat or any sore muscles today. But I'm sure you probably do because you've really been getting after it this off season during the OTAs.
Trying to. You guys living a good life over there.
Yeah, well, I don't hate the AC right now. I definitely don't. And we were out there yesterday too, but that great feeling when you're working hard outside and then you finally get back to the locker room, you got that AC blasting. It's always a pretty good feeling there. But obviously you're in the middle of OTAs right now, and OTAs are voluntary. You don't have to be there, but you've been out there grinding every single day. So Will, I just wanted to ask you, what are you trying to get out of these OTAs? Why are you here when, you don't necessarily have to be?
I think OTAs is a great time and place to build that foundation you need. We got a few new pieces. We got some young rookies that's going to be expected to play. We got to be able to set the tone and the tempo because I think right now, me and Nacho are the oldest guys in the room, Vita as well.
Yeah.
So we got to be able to show them how to be pros, I guess, because we got a lot of young guys in there. So that's what we want to do. Then we want to be able to get the communication down. That way we can make it to our end game, our end goal in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's jump right to some of those young guys. Probably the most prominent young guy, the new addition is Logan Hall, the first pick by you guys, top of the second round, defensive tackle who's coming in and playing, in Ndamukong Suh's spot. He's going to be the starter, and it's kind of crazy, Will, because when I was doing my draft prep, and actually we forecasted the Bucs drafting Logan Hall. We had him in our mock draft. He was one of our Bucs' best bets on the defensive line. And the thing is when I'm looking at this guy at Houston, maybe it's the number 2, the 92 jersey. Maybe it's the, the red. Maybe it's the 6'6" frame. But I'm thinking, damn, it looks like Will Gholston. And obviously, you guys aren't the same player. You've got years of experience on this guy for sure. But it's interesting that for the longest time, you've kind of been a bit of an oddball in the defensive line room because of your size. And I don't mean oddball in a bad way at all. I mean in a great way. Matter of fact, Todd Bowles and Casey Rogers have said you're the prototype when it comes to a 3-4 defensive lineman. And now that you guys have Logan Hall, I don't know of a better player he can model his game after than you because of your similar size and build.
If I can give you my opinion on that guy's like that. From the first day I seen him practice and come in and prepare this kid.
Looks like we lost Will there for a second.
Yep. He was talking about Logan Hall, and we'll see if we can get Will back.
This happened too when Jason Light was on. And so hopefully we can get Will back. But yeah, I'm curious what Will was going to say about that because, we heard Casey Rogers talk about how he sees a little bit of a Will Gholston in Logan Hall. Now, understandably, two different types of players, and that's just no two players are exactly the same unless they're twins. Trying to think, you have a couple of twins in the league, or the McCourty twins, a couple of different players. But it should be cool to see Logan Hall lining up next to Will Gholston this year. Appreciate everyone that's watching this show right now. Camp Peralta said, hey, Will, for a fellow Spartan, go green. I'm a Spartan as well, too, but not Michigan State. I am University of Tampa. So I do root for the Spartans just because we got the same name. I think, might as well go with that. But as you see right now, we're having a little technical difficulties.
It's interesting, too, because Will's last college game was at Raymond James Stadium. And it was Michigan State defensive end, and he actually went up against Georgia, had a phenomenal game. And that was really one of the first times I had seen him on in my draft study, and I didn't really know if the Buccaneers had a big need for a defensive end at that time, but he's one of the players I liked, and when they drafted him, during the Shiano years, I was thrilled. I was like, holy smokes, like they got this guy, and I remember him from the Outback Bowl, so that was a really cool thing for me to actually have a player that I kind of liked and gravitated towards, and that happens a lot. I mean, sometimes, like even with Logan Hall, right? I mean, I really liked him in the draft process. I was a little cool to him at first because I thought, how is a 265-pound guy going to make it in this league? But when you look at Logan Hall and how he's bulked up to 290 pounds, it's a situation where he's not 265. He played at 270 in college, and then he's up to 290 pounds now. And we have Will back. So Will, you didn't miss much. We're just talking about Logan Hall and how much we liked him in the pre-draft process, and you were getting ready to say how much you like what you've seen so far from this guy in OTAs.
My apologies for that technical difficulty.
No worries.
Okay. It happens.
Technology
is great when it works.
Yeah, right. But like I was saying, Logan is like that. His versatility, I think he can play inside and out. I think he can play my position, Sue's position. His explosiveness and like how well he moves to be that big. Like I was shocked because I don't necessarily see guys my size and stature all the time.
Right.
And he's the same size as me, but he moves. I know you guys probably remember. Noah Spence. He moves like Noah.
Of course.
Yeah.
He moves like Noah Spence, and I'm like, yo, this dude is 90 plus, moving like that, like a little fish out there. So it's exciting to see what he does, and he's retaining the information as well. So I got really high hopes for this guy. I know he's gonna be able to produce.
Well, let's just hope he produces more than Noah Spence, because I'm just saying he kind of flamed out a little quickly there. Didn't really live up to the expectations. But yes, I mean he certainly had that ability. But Noah Spence was about 240 pounds, and this cat is 290, right? So
that's why I was trying to give the comparison. Like Noah could bend, but this guy can bend and move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because we heard, Casey Rogers said that he sees a little bit of you in Logan Hall. So Will, I was curious too, if when you look at your size, Logan's size, Joe Tryon-Chayinka is huge as well too. I mean, you got some tall guys on the defensive line. I think the PBU rate for the D line alone is going to be through the roof in terms of production that we haven't seen before.
I hope so. We get them hands up, bat the ball down, but hopefully we get more sacks though. That's the goal. We got to get them down to the ground.
Well, you did that pretty well last year. I mean, you turned 30 last year and had 4.5 sacks, a career high.
Yeah.
I mean, like Tom Brady, you're like a fine wine. You're just getting better with age, are you not?
I believe so. I think if I played in this type of scheme and I had this coaching staff when I was younger, I think I would be a totally different player. I'd be viewed as a different type of player.
Yeah, it's funny because Todd Bowles even said this yesterday. He was talking about you, and he said that you are tailor-made for the 3-4 defense. So what is it about that defense that has just made you excel so well? I know you've played in a number of different defenses and schemes, but you've had so much success in the 3-4. And I remember you saying last year that when you have a coach like Todd Bowles, he's a man that you want to run through a brick wall for. So is it just the 3-4 defense, or is it Todd Bowles as well?
It has to be everything. I think it's not just Coach Bowles. It's not just a 3-4. I got to throw Casey and Lowe in that bad boy too, because the preparation that I have as far as fundamental and technique wise and learning the plays and everything that they do from a coach's stand, like they dot every I, they cross every T, they make sure we always prepare. So it leaves onus on me to personally just get better. I don't have to worry about how to study, when to study, or what to study. It's like they give us a cheat sheet, so I know what to look at, know how to look at it. So all I have to do is focus on my technique. And I think over the last few seasons, I've been able to focus on my technique, learn what I was doing wrong, correct them, and just consistently try to get better. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what you gotta do, or I'll be watching.
Yeah. So you had career high 4.5 sacks last year. There you are dropping Mac Jones That must have been fun, right, on prime time to have a big game like that. You also were incredibly successful in Carolina against Sam Darnold, dropping the quarterbacks there.
2.5 in that game.
Yeah, and you had the lone sack against Matthew Stafford out there in week 3 against the Rams. Could have used another one in the playoff game. I'm sure right?
Definitely could have.
Let's talk about that Rams game, because that's the last time we've seen you in a Buccaneer uniform, right? How long did it take you to get over that loss? Because you guys were down early. Defense really kind of led the comeback with those takeaways. Tom and Mike doing their thing, getting it tied up. Leonard Fournette, and then to lose it the way you did was just heartbreaking. How long did it take you to get over that?
I don't know. I'm not really over it. I don't know why. Like usually, 24-hour rule, but that stuff sucks, bro. Like,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah,
I think everybody felt what I felt like. As you said, come back, fight our butts off, get down. The last 2 plays, it made me feel like, what can I do better to never feel like this? Like for that to be my second year ever going into the playoffs, it was gut-wrenching. It was the worst loss I ever had in my life.
Yeah, I mean, in my 27 years, that loss and really the 1999 NFC Championship game when the Bucs lost at St. Louis to the Rams, that was just as devastating. So I definitely feel you there. Shaq Barrett yesterday said that he felt like the winner of that Bucs-Rams game was going to win the Super Bowl.
Man, he's not the only one.
Yeah.
I sat there and I did not want to watch the playoffs, but I kind of forced myself to, just because, kind of praying for the Rams to lose. But I kind of knew, man, get past this game. It's paid for us to be able to win.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to play Cincinnati in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you win that game against the Rams, you would have a home game the next week against the 49ers, and then you're going to play the Bengals. Now, does it feel like that there's unfinished business? Because you get to play the Rams again this season. You obviously play the Saints twice a season because you're in the division, but that's a team that you beat them in the playoffs on the way to winning the Super Bowl, and that was awesome. In the regular season, though, they've had your number a little bit, so you get a little revenge.
7 straight games.
Yeah, right? I was trying to put it a little bit lightly, but you get the revenge against those teams, and also I think too, a lot of people have talked about the Bucs schedule this year. You obviously have a lot of tough opponents, but that comes with the territory of winning the division. Does it almost feel like as well too that you get to control your own destiny because you play the Rams, because you play teams like the Packers, who usually win their division, because you play the Cowboys week 1. These are all teams that are going to be lobbying for that number 1 seed. And there's only one team that gets a bye in the playoffs now with the new rules and the extra game on the schedule.
Yeah, as you said, we get a chance to control our own destiny. But I also like it because of the fact those are the best teams you can play against. You want to be the best player you can possibly be, so you got to play against that type and level of competition. I think it's going to be glorious. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a gladiator when I play football, so I get to go against what is assumed to be the very best coming from that next year. You know what I'm saying? And what we doing in OTAs, we haven't got our pass, so you can't really say, okay, we can do this, we can do that. You don't know what you can do until you get pads on, but I think we got a chance to be devastating as a defensive front.
What is it going to take to beat the Rams? They beat you 3 times now, and obviously they're the defending Super Bowl champions now.
Being able to key in on the little things, you know what I'm saying? As far as the small, intricate details, I feel like on paper, we can go up against anybody, but when it comes down to it, it comes down to your mental effort, your preparation for the game, and being prepared in every aspect, and understanding that just because we scouted some plays, they might not run those plays. You got to be able, because they self-scout just like we do.
Right.
And just being able to capitalize on opportunities. We had opportunities in the game that we lost in the playoff game. We didn't capitalize every single time. We did later in the game.
Yeah.
And, if we would have made a mental mistake, we got to be able to squash all of that. We got to be a well fine-tuned machine to be able to beat teams of that caliber, because they're not a pushover team.
Yeah. Can you give me one example of one of those details that you guys are honing in on, or that you need to hone in on against the Rams?
And this isn't just the Rams, this is just with any good caliber team, I would say, is just situational football, backed up, coming out. You got to know they're going to hard count. You're in the goal line, you got to know you're going to get a play. It's going to either be a direct run or a ball that's going to be tossed to the pylon. Backed up, coming out, also direct run, pass to the flat. You know what I'm saying? If you know what hash they're in between both of the 40s, you got to know they're going to take a deep threat shot. That's a shot area because they right on the cusp of field goal range. It's dang, it's a lot of little situations. I never even thought about it until I had to say it out loud.
Yeah. Coach Bob Sanders, your new outside linebackers coach. And I know that the defensive coaches work together, right? We saw that at the OTA the other day. He put together a film of missed sacks, right? You had 47 sacks as a team, one less than last year, but you've had 47, 48, now 47 sacks. You're a top 5 sack team. You blitzed the most. But he showed you guys some sacks that you guys missed. And, you know, I asked Coach Bowles about this, and he probably said you should have had close to 60, you know, right, when it's all said and done. Sometimes, like Bob Sanders was saying, it's doing that one little thing technique-wise to try to get you 1 inch closer, because a lot of those missed sacks by you, Shaq, Vita, JTS, it's literally an inch, right?
Yeah, football comes down to a game of inches. Just like you said, it's that little extra, that little bit that you may not think is going. It can be a quarterback hit, or it can be a sack or a pressure. It's just that little extra effort, that extra flip of the hips, that extra double swipe, that extra burst off the finish of your rush, top of your rush. And like, you don't necessarily think it. So during these times in OTAs is where you train it. You got to train yourself to say, okay, I'm rushing. This is my one-on-one rush. I have to win my rush. What do I have to do at the top? Now, you come in and you don't got to go balls to the wall. Excuse my language, that's too much. You don't got to go
you're good.
balls to the wall, but you got to hone yourself and train yourself to say, all right, I'm at the top of my rush. What do I have to do next? You got to consistently put it in there so it's a real tool in your toolbox, you know, not a plastic screwdriver. You got a real flathead screwdriver that you can pull out and use. And I think for me, my opinion is that's what OTAs is for. OTAs is to perfect the stuff that you go into there. It's not to be like, okay, I don't know who I am as a player. It's to get those things that you're good at and perfect them, and then work on the things that you need to bring along.
Is there excuse me real quick, is there any reason why the Saints have your number? Anything special that they do?
I can't say. I don't necessarily know. I know we give everything we got. You know, it's not like we're not out there giving it all. We putting everything on the line when you get in between those white lines. So I wouldn't even be able to say, but I know they have it. They have been able to beat us consistently. We got.
It's not even a rivalry. You hate them, don't you?
Oh man, it's a lot of teams that I don't have no reason not to like, but I just don't like them. I don't know why.
Sometimes you got to have that mentality though when you're on the field. Like, everyone gets, if you get a little too buddy, then you know sometimes it takes away from that, you know, aggressive nature which you need obviously in football. Will, I want to go back to something that you just mentioned a minute or two ago, where you said you think that you're going to have a devastating defense this year. And I love that you're saying that, because, I mean, you look at the 2020 defense, like especially in that Super Bowl, shutting down the Kansas City Chiefs, you didn't even allow a touchdown against them. That's a devastating defense. And when you look at the Bucs defense over the last 2 years, I think last season, injuries was a huge part of it. I mean, the defense was ravaged with injuries from every single unit. You know, it wasn't just one position. Does it feel like going into this season, and obviously injuries are a part of the game, but does it feel like if the defense can relatively stay healthy this year, that you guys can, I don't want to say regain that form, but get back to that level that you know you're capable of, which is championship winning football?
I think, not even think, I know if they don't score, we get a chance to win. And if we can hone ourselves to not letting people score, I think we're going to be able to win a lot of ball games. But I think it really comes down to the level of communication we have, the effort we put in mentally, and just how hard and what we're willing to sacrifice as we work. And I truly believe that's what we're doing. I feel like the guys that we got are willing to sacrifice and go the extra mile, just because the way we lost. Like, everybody remembers the way we lost. Nobody wants to feel like that. And if we didn't let them score, then we would have won.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality I feel like you got to have. And I think that's the mentality that we do have.
Yeah. You teamed with Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea, right? That front for several years, helped win the Super Bowl. It looks like this team is moved on, right? They're going with Logan Hall at defensive tackle. You think you guys can overcome the loss of Ndamukong Suh up front, and really not just him, right? I mean, he was a leader and a valuable cog, but also Jason Pierre-Paul. And I mean, we've seen the team give number 90 to Logan Hall. That's usually a sign that they're moving on. But just talk about the loss of those two players and how maybe you and Vita Vea and Nacho are going to have to step up in some leadership roles up front with these younger guys like a Logan Hall.
I think that Jason and Sue are definitely Hall of Fame caliber players. In my book, they are Hall of Fame caliber guys, and they can, it's hard to replace those talents. So with that being said, I think the younger guys who would be myself, Nacho, Vita, we all studied under Sue per se, and we got Joe, we got Cam, Elijah, and we got Big Nelly in there, and they studied under Jason. So we all had the opportunity to pick up a little bit from those guys and be able to put it into our game.
It's got to be a cool perspective for you, too, when you think about it, since you've been here for a while. You were here when Vita Vea came in, and you were a mentor to Vita. So was, Sue when he's been here, Gerald McCoy as well, too. And now Vita is in a position, he just signed the contract. He's going to be here for a while. Now Vita's in the position where he's going to be a mentor for Logan Hall. Just how cool is it to see kind of everything come full circle? The wheel of the NFL going from being someone who's getting mentored by legends, future Hall of Famers, as you just said, to now being the guy that's going to help the next generation, the next rookie class come in and help the Bucs win.
I think it's a case of being able to pay it forward just with the knowledge. The knowledge of the game is priceless. You cannot teach that experience, but you can give as much as you can. And these guys are like sponges, and they soaking everything up. All the young guys we got in our room are soaking up all of the advice we give, all of the tips we bouncing stuff off of each other. And then to be able to see Big V, you know what I'm saying, come through, get that big contract, which he well deserves. She's a dominant force.
Yes.
It's irreplaceable. He's like a generational talent. But I know that he is ready. I know that he can do it. I see him do it. Even when he was younger, he would be able to talk. It's crazy. I'm sorry, I'm everywhere when you ask this question, but it is crazy to see how much mental fortitude Vita has. So you do come in as a rookie and you see all right, this guy doesn't know a lot. You know what I'm saying? He's new to the NFL. So now I'm looking in the meeting room, Vita's answering questions like that, calling out blocks, calling out situations, knowing that, all right, we got 3-by-1 over here, center back split. The back is going to pick up the guy off the edge. You know what I'm saying? They're going to check it from the safety. I'm listening to them do all this stuff, and I'm like, man, we getting old. You know what I'm saying? We are some seasoned veterans.
Yeah.
When I say we, I mean myself, but
yeah, he's
a seasoned veteran, and I'm excited to see what he can do, as that number one guy.
Yeah. Will, how much does Vita weigh?
I don't know. Probably
they haven't listed. What?
He 280, give or take a couple pounds.
No, he's not 280.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe 300. I don't know, man.
He's bigger than that.
He's 250. He moves like he's 250.
He does move exceptionally well. Yeah. The reason I asked that is because, I mean, they list him at 347. Tristan Wirth shocked the hell out of us in the media because they have him listed at 320, which was his weight at Iowa. And he told the media he played last year at 345. And you're like, what? This guy carried it so well. 345. Yeah. Yeah.
Shoot. He 345. Hey,
Tristan Wirth is 345.
That's a heavy dude. You're right.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: how much do you weigh? And the reason why I want to know that is because you have played 4-3 defensive end. I think I've seen you as light as 260 maybe.
A little lower, but I was there.
Yeah, and this is an old picture here. Look how thin you were. This is back in the day here. This is back when you were losing weight that off season because you had to play 4-3 defensive end, had to get a little quicker, right? But then you've gained weight. You've been over 300 pounds. You look hella good at OTAs. Where are you at? What's the best comfortable playing weight for you in this scheme right now?
I like how I play when I'm at 306, but like I try to get heavier so when camp starts, I can lose the weight healthy. Like I'm not just losing lean muscle. I want to lose a little bit of my body fat during camp. Right, but right now I'm way heavier than 306 right now. I'm a little thick right now, so I'm probably when I got on the scale the other day I was like 318.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
but I mean,
you
need that though when you're playing in the 3-4,
right? And you
the
have
doubles
a
don't
little
come off a lot.
Yeah. You have a little time to, get back into shape too. Training camp, still over a month away. But I'm curious too, you're going into your 10th season, your uniform number 92, but number 1 in the hearts of Bucs fans for, so much that you've done here in the community and just being a great player on this team. I'm curious now, we've talked a lot about mentoring and some of the younger guys here, but what is something when you first got into the league, what is something that you know now that you wish you knew when you first entered the NFL and playing with the Bucs?
It's okay to take a breath and know that everybody isn't against you, but also in the same respect, everybody isn't with you.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
You're talking about like within your team?
With just overall in general, within the team, yes, because you gotta like coming in, you think that, oh man, I gotta take this guy's job. He's not going to help me.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember, you also are trying to take this guy's job. He's going to give you everything you need.
Right.
But you're still fighting him to feed his family. If you think about football and then outside and just regular life, everything that shines, everything that glitters is not gold. So
right.
Don't fall for the cheese. If I can give that to any rookie.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I remember you coming out and spending time with my kids, taking pictures at their training camp. Time flies, man. It really does. You've had some prominent sacks in your career, Will. Who is the quarterback that you have not sacked yet that you can't wait to get on the ground, whether it's this year or in future years? Who's that trophy QB that you would love to tell your kids, hey, I got that guy on the ground?
Hopefully I never get a chance to sack him, to be honest with you. Tom. I would love to sack Tom. Hopefully I never get a chance. That way, I'm still playing with him throughout his career. But
right.
If I could say active quarterbacks right now, I see you guys got Rodgers there. Yeah, I want to get him too.
You already got Stafford, but maybe again, right? Just for good measure.
Oh yeah.
May your force fumble this time with it too. Add a little
force fumble, scoop and score.
Yeah.
If I'm dreaming big, but
hey, how about Jameis Winston? You went against him in practice, couldn't sack him.
Without a question. I thought that would go without question. And Jameis is I look at Jameis like a bro. Like that's one of the bros. I want to knock his block off. But I know for sure he want to drop his shoulder and run me over in the same respect or try to juke me. So I know that's what he wants. And I know that's what I want. But at the end of the day, that's my brother. But that is I would like to do that. I would like to do that. I want to sack every single quarterback there is, man. I don't know. I can't even pick one. I just want to get to them.
Yeah.
Are there any new pass rushing moves that you plan on adding into your repertoire for this season?
I have been working with Casey. Casey showed me a couple moves that I can use to utilize my length and strength. I don't want to give it away.
Of course.
I'm trying to make it a trade secret.
Gotcha.
But I do have some pass rush moves that I do plan on pulling out. If you come to OTAs, you'll see them.
Okay.
Yeah. I
was going to say here, Jonah has a super chat question. We appreciate that. Will, what was your reaction when you found out that Tom Brady was? Well, let's just make it a double question. What was it like when you found out Tom Brady was coming to Tampa back in 2020? And then what was your reaction when you found out he was unretiring and coming back?
When I found out he was coming, I said, "Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. Let's put this work in." I literally asked Nacho.
Yeah.
That's why I said, we're going to the Super Bowl, man. We got to put this work in. Exactly what my total reaction. But when he unretired, I was like, man, I didn't think he was really going to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. If I can give you that, that's the God honest truth. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't think he really wanted to retire.
Yeah.
But I was just excited. Like, it's Tom Brady.
Yeah. You mentioned wanting to sack Tom Brady. You know who has sacked Tom Brady? Former teammate of yours, Akeem Spence. He sacked Tom Brady.
That was his first sack ever.
I know, right? How about that?
In Boston. That was
And,
crazy. Oh no, play action.
Yep.
Didn't even block.
I know.
Shout out to Spence.
You remember it like it was yesterday. I feel like you remember that more than some of your own plays.
Hey, that's my best friend, bro. I remember a lot of his plays. This is a period of time I was watching him play, so I remember a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, I read that I believe last year you started getting into jiu-jitsu. Is that true? And what went into wanting to get into that? And is there anything that you could take from jiu-jitsu that you've maybe, hand placement or footwork or anything like that maybe you started implementing into your own game?
Being able to attack the joints. But yes, I do jiu-jitsu. Let me answer that for you. I do jiu-jitsu. I got into jiu-jitsu, a crazy story. I was in Bass Pro Shop looking to get some gear, and who is my sensei now, my master right now, he's like, hey, I can put you down, slam you. And I looked at him, and like, if you ever saw him, he's rocked up, like he comes like he's right at my chest or a little lower. And he's a bald guy, full gray, little goatee, and I looked at him, I said, I believe you. It's okay. And we started laughing. And he told me, like, hey man, I've done all of these things. I train. I think you should be able to come and do it. I heard you play football. I think it'll be a good idea. And I
went. He knew who you were, right? Yeah,
because I go to Bass Pro Shop a lot.
Okay.
I like to hunt and fish.
Yeah.
Just on my pastime. So the guys.
Will, we lost your sound. Can you hear us?
Oh,
we had you for a second.
Yeah, your sound's going in and out. Can you hear us now?
Oh yes, I'm sorry about
there we
that.
Go. No, you're good.
I was saying, he slammed me on my neck and choked me out. And it was love at first sight. I've been addicted since.
That's fantastic.
Any UFC fighters that you watch? I mean, obviously you watch tape of the NFL. Is there any UFC fighters, some of the top jiu-jitsu guys that maybe either interest you or something you pick up on?
I haven't. I've actually been watching bare knuckle boxing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've been to some of those events.
That is crazy, right? So
unbelievable. They just tape the hands and go right at it. It's crazy. They have it in Tampa from time to time.
Yes, it's nuts. So that's what I've been watching, to be honest. If I watch any basically mixed martial arts, I haven't really watched a lot of UFC.
So we had a little shout out here from Nard Beasy. I played Little League in high school with my brother Will here. I miss you, bro. This is Nard from Mumford.
The Nard, what's going on, man? Get out of here. How do you know about Pewter Reports? That's what's up, baby.
Come on, man. How do you know about Pewter Report? You got millions of Bucs fans.
Got a lot of people.
Yeah.
I didn't know he's a Bucs fan. People from Detroit are die-hard Lions fans. Like, die-hard Lions fans. Yep.
We're just wrapping up with Will here. We appreciate your time very much. One of the things I've always wanted to ask you about this run defense that you guys have that is usually at the top. I think you were like third last year, but you're always in the top 3 in terms of run defense. It's even to the point where some teams just go into the game not even wanting to try because you're so good. What makes Todd Bowles' run defense so good? I mean, obviously it's the players. That's part of it. But what about the scheme and the way that the players are used makes it just like an impenetrable brick wall for most games?
It's kind of basically what you just said. One is the players. Players play, coaches coach. But he always puts us in the position to make the play, and that's with the whole front 7. So if one guy gets a double team, it's an open gap, and our linebackers flow, they coming down. If somebody tries to reach Joe, can't really reach him. He's a freak of nature, so he can get off and make the play. If somebody try to run inside, you got 3 different guys just head hunting for the ball. I think it's just the way that he puts us in the situation to make the play, and we capitalize on it.
Yeah. So we got to ask you, who is going to be the breakout player on defense this year? We kind of saw Anthony Nelson have some really good production towards the end of the year last year.
Logan Hall.
Logan Hall.
Why? I think he's going to get at least 6+ sacks minimum.
Wow.
That'd be
That
something.
guy's nice. I don't
Really?
even give compliments. That guy is
I know.
nice.
He hasn't done anything, Will. He's a rookie.
I know. And I'm
We've
like,
barely seen him in pads. We haven't seen him. in
Yeah.
pads.
I haven't seen him in pads, but I've seen I don't know why I'm so excited about him, but man, like I see the dog in him.
Yeah.
Like, like you really see the dog with the pads.
Yeah.
But I see the dog, I see the fight, and he is so big and slippery. He's an even more athletic JJ Watt in his prime. Man, this is some big compliments I'm giving out.
That
know you
that
are.
is a huge compliment. That is quite the
I
comparison.
just want everybody to know that guy is like that.
Yeah.
I believe he is.
You heard it from you first.
Hopefully he don't watch it, because when I see him, I'm never gonna give him this credit in person. Not yet. I'm gonna wait to about the third game. By the third game, we'll know. If it's not Logan Hall, I will give it to my man Nelly, because Nelly kind of broke out last year too. I don't know if you guys saw it suddenly.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was moving.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and I think Bowles and Shaq Barrett were praising Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, expecting a big year out of him. What are your thoughts on JTS?
Man, first and foremost, I need to recede what I said about Logan now that I'm thinking about everybody else. Jeez, because the way Joe's been playing in OTAs, granted it's shorts and helmets football, but the way he's been moving and playing, he got that year 2 confidence. You know, everybody gets like that first year, you feel your way out. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But that year 2 confidence, where like I'm a grown man, I got grown man strength, and I can stop this guy with my bare hands. He got that now, and you can see it in his play. But then you got him, you got Nelly. Sheesh.
And Nelly's in a contract year. You know all about that. You know what it's like being in a contract year. You ball out. You got to show up.
Get to the money.
Yeah.
Man. All right. I wanted to be in the interior defensive line room, of course, but I would have to say, definitely, if I look at it, outside linebackers for sure. And then if I said anybody on offense, I gotta give it to my man Tyler. Big 18.
Really?
He had a huge catch in OTAs yesterday. It was a drill where, late in the game, you have to score a touchdown, can't settle a field goal. And, he made the catch with Antoine Winfield Jr. covering him. So
Draped
we're talking about, draped all over him. We're talking about, a top safety in this league. So
why did you say Tyler Johnson?
Because I like the way his hands, not to say they weren't, but his hands seem to be more consistent throughout this OTA process. You know what I'm saying? And to be a receiver in this league, you got to have very consistent hands. And then not having Chris right now, having Mike, you can kind of just put all eyes on him. Yeah. And he's been producing. And I like that.
Well, you were very candid a couple of years ago. I think right around your contract extension, you didn't have a great year. You admitted that. And things weren't going right for you. Ryan Jensen even admitted his first year in Tampa, he packed on some weight. He was comfortable with the contract, really disappointed. And then, now I think 2019 is a different story, right? And then makes the Pro Bowl this past year after helping you guys win a Super Bowl. Consistency from year to year is so hard, right? Mm-hmm. Tyler Johnson didn't have a great year last year, right? Do you kind of sense that guys like him and Scotty Miller, right, who had the big catch in the NFC Championship game, and at one point was leading you guys in receiving yards in 2020. And then he gets hurt, right? Do you kind of sense in guys like Tyler Johnson and Scotty Miller that sense to bounce back this year, because you got hard on yourself when you didn't have a good year?
Definitely, I can sense the hunger off of these guys, out of everybody, which is why I'm so excited about the season. But I definitely sense how they want to get better, and they've shown that they can get better. And they not just proven to others, just proven to themselves. Like, hey, I'm that guy. I can be that guy. I am that guy, and it's cool to see. Man, it's awesome. See, I don't even think, I know it, but I don't think that way. So when I hear the question, I'm living it as I'm speaking it, and it's,
I know.
Man, it's a lot of stuff I get to enjoy. I don't even appreciate it that much, because I see it all the time. But you guys pose the question, and I'm like, dang, this is really cool.
Hey, Will, we've been doing this a long time, man. It's 10 years. I've covered every minute of your career with the Buccaneers. I even did an SR's Fab 5 column because I just turned 50, unfortunately. But at 50 things I loved about covering the Buccaneers. And I listed 25 players, actually 26. And you were on that list. You made my list. And this is what I put. I called you clutch quote Will Gholston. I really admire Gholston because he's a gritty defensive lineman that does the dirty work in the run game. He's played 10 years in Tampa Bay. He's been a go-to guy for me when I need support quotes on other players. Smart, knowledgeable, and opinionated. Gholston will be the first player I seek out when open locker room resumes this year. And haven't been in the locker room yet, but you're the first Buccaneer we've had on the Pewter Report podcast this year. And so I want to say thank you very much for joining us. Always a pleasure talking with you, man.
Totally honored. Thank you. If you ever need me back on, let me know.
Yeah, thanks a ton, Will. Thank you so much. And you have a football camp coming up. That's right, on June 5th. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So I'm trying to start an annual defensive lineman camp because you always get the 7-on-7s and all that stuff. So I'm starting a defensive line camp, O-line, D-line, and it's June 5th. It's from the ages 12 to 18. There is a registration fee, but I'm also sponsoring kids too. All of the proceeds that we earn is going to the church. So
That's awesome.
whatever you bring, we donate it to the church either way. I just want to have all the kids that come out and learn the things that it took me a long time to learn. I want to teach them while they're young. So if you got the opportunity, you're free, come on out. It's on a Sunday, and if you want to register, you can look on my Instagram. Send one of the little links. You can also go to the Trench Academy's Instagram. They have it in the link because they'll be the ones who are helping me with the teaching aspect of it.
It's called the Trench Academy, right?
Yep, the Trench Academy. That's where I work out at, actually.
Yeah. And what's your handle on Twitter and Instagram so people can follow you and get more information about the camps?
My handle on Instagram is William Gholston, my first and last name. On Instagram, on Twitter, it is Will_Gholston2. And yeah, I post at least once or twice a week about the camp. So if you want to acknowledge it, I'll post something a little bit later so you can.
Yeah, we'll definitely retweet it for everybody.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, we got it covered on all social media platforms. We'll make sure we spread the word that everyone knows about your camp. Yeah. So, Will, thanks again so much. We really appreciate you joining the show today.
Thank you guys, man. I enjoyed myself. Sorry I'm in my car, but I got it.
It's all good. It helps with the atmosphere, it helps helps with the vibe.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You're a man on the move, moving to big things, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yep, we appreciate it. Will Gholston there from your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, getting ready to sack more quarterbacks. He was the fourth leading sacker last year. He had more sacks than Vita, right? Devin White. I mean, we're talking some Pro Bowlers here. So Big Will getting it done. We appreciate him joining us on the Pewter Report podcast. Absolutely awesome. That was really fun.
That was great. I mean, I thought going into this, we were going to get some good insight about Logan Hall and Vita, and we got all of that. But I mean, it was on top of that. I mean, he said Logan Hall is going to be like JJ Watt. That's a gigantic comparison.
You nailed it right in the head. It's a huge comparison. And I'm just telling you from my experience, one of the reasons why Will Gholston has been one of my go-to guys in the locker room is because he's spot on. Like he will tell you the unvarnished truth. He's not just lathering guys up. He's not trying to embellish things. He will speak his mind. Now, I will say when he's critical about, things, whether it's players, coaches, whatever, right? He won't do that on the record. But at the same time, I learned a long time ago in this business and also in life, you don't have to pay somebody a compliment, right? That's a compliment is an extra. Right? It's not required. So when you're seeing Will Gholston be that authentic about his teammates, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Nelly, Anthony Nelson, and about Logan Hall, it's the gospel according to Will Gholston.
Yeah, he doesn't sugarcoat stuff. Like, he's not just being like, oh, yeah, he's going to be the next JJ Watt. No, he legitimately means it. You know, he's serious when it comes to that. And it's just so awesome to see, too. He's like, oh, man, we got Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and Vita and Logan Hall's like coming in. Like, wait a second. Like, we had how many Pro Bowl players last year? Like, damn, our team's really good. It's like,
no doubt.
He's obviously an NFL player who, again, is going on a 10-year career. So we're talking about you have to have success in the NFL if you're going to be around for 10 years. But he's like almost a fan at the same time of like, wow, it's just, I admire watching the offense score 30 points a game. That's not exactly what he said, but I just thought a great interview overall.
It
I
really was.
personally, the jiu-jitsu answer where he's like,
I
this
know.
guy that's half my size took me down and everything like that.
Yeah.
Thought it was so funny.
Yeah, and I think the thing too with with Gholston is he's seen a lot. We could have gone, and see that's the great thing about him is he said, all right, I'll give you guys 20 minutes. We ended up getting about 40 minutes out of Will because he's just that good, right? We're hitting him with good questions and he's knocking them out of the park. And I think that this is a guy that's toiled under so many different defensive line coaches. I think he's played for like 8 or 9.
He was naming them before the show, and he was like, "Oh wow, like it's been that many." So yeah, he's been through a lot, and I think it just speaks to no matter like what you're doing in life, perseverance is a lot because the Bucs fans have seen it firsthand.
Right,
there were a lot of bad teams and not a lot of success, and obviously Will kept working at it, and obviously it helps when Tom Brady gets there, but he's seeing all the excitement now, all the joy that comes with it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And there's been some players, right, that are and I say this with no disrespect, but there are star players, right? The Mike Allstotts, the Mike Evans, the Warren Sapps, the Levante Davids, the Derek Brookses, the John Lynches, the Rondé Barbers, right? That are iconic players. Those are the stars, and those are the guys that are going to be in the Ring of Honor, et cetera, et cetera. Then you've got guys that I call semi-stars, really good, popular players that have played for teams for a long time. Like I think on this current roster, the semi-stars to me are Will Gholston and Cam Brate, right?
Yeah, that's exactly who I had in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're Buccaneers. These are guys that you want to see play their last play in the NFL as a Buccaneer in red and pewter.
They are guys that, in a couple years, whenever their careers finish, and we're not speculating that how long either of them are going to keep playing for, but like in years from now, when their career is done, Bucs fans will be at a game watching their current iteration of the team, and they'll put Will Gholston or Cam Brate or one of those other players up on the screen, and they will get a huge round of applause from the fans. Right. And I think that's one of the coolest things that you could, possibly get from being a player in this league, and especially for one franchise like Will Gholston and Cam Brate have done. But speaking of great franchises, a great franchise that we work with is Celsius Energy Drink, Scott. And this podcast, of course, is brought to you by Celsius Energy. I am rocking the the sparkling strawberry lemonade. And that's the beauty of Celsius is the versatility, much like Will Gholston. There's multiple different things to like about Celsius, whether it's the flavor. That's probably why I'm most drawn to it, is the variety of flavors, the fact that they taste like it is advertised. All right. The strawberry lemonade tastes like strawberry lemonade. The wild berry tastes like the wild berry. All right. The orange, tropical vibe, the watermelon, the Arctic vibe, as you see there. It all tastes fantastic to the point where sometimes I'll just have a Celsius because I just enjoy the taste, not even because I need the energy. But that's the other side of it, is that it gets you energized, gets you through a work day, a long drive, a workout, which, Scott, you usually work out after the show, if I'm not mistaken.
I do, and I have my Celsius. And Celsius provides you with 7 essential vitamins, no preservatives, no artificial colors or flavors, 0 sugar, and the energy that you need to live fit. And it's essential energy, folks. It really is. So if you want to find out where you can get Celsius, go to Amazon.com and click on the subscribe and save option when you type in Celsius. And what you're going to get is you're going to get it shipped right to your door, and you're going to save some money with that subscribe and save option, which is great. You can also click on the Celsius banner ads on pewterreport.com for other ways to buy. And also visit Celsius.com. Click on the store locator, and you can find out where you can get Celsius near you.
Absolutely. Let's get to some of the comments here from the fans. Long Lost Glazer said, when Logan Hall said, I'm better than him, talking about Peyton Thomas, who went 28 to Saints last year, I was sold mentally. Takes balls to make that matter-of-fact statement. You know, it is funny because you see it with Tom Brady. He's the ultimate example of playing with a chip on his shoulder because he was taken so late. I'm down with, if Hall has this, I don't want to say vendetta is not the right word, but if Logan Hall has this, again, chip on his shoulder, this angst because there's another player that he feels that he is better than, I'm all for it. I mean, there's a reason, again, that Will Gholston is talking very highly about this guy before he's even worn pads, let alone take a preseason snap.
Man, we're talking, 6 practices now, right? 6 OTAs.
Yeah.
And Will's forming these opinions. And I got a feeling that these opinions are only going to get bolstered when Logan Hall gets pads on too. I mean, I think what he's talking about is just the fluidity, the athleticism, the size, the strength. This kid has it. And then you're talking about the mental makeup, which I'm sure has already come through, right? Just standing there, shooting the crap with the guy and just kind of, picking his brain a little bit. Who is this guy? Trying to find out who his new teammate is. And listen, folks, there's a reason why we had Logan Hall as our number 1 pick in the Bucs mock draft on PewterReport.com. There's a reason why Greg Cosell said that not Devontae Adams, not Jordan Davis, certainly, but Logan Hall was the best pass rushing 3 technique defensive tackle in this draft. And there's a reason why this team is not re-signing Ndamukong Suh, and it's because of Logan Hall.
And Michael Henderson says here, looks like Hall was a good pick. Perfect to replace Suh. Well, someone's going to have to do it. And I wouldn't rule out, again, a veteran guy coming in later, but I don't necessarily think that veteran's going to be a starter. I think it's strictly just going to be for a depth purpose type of thing. Daryl says, Bucs life for Gholston. I think he means Bucs fan for life for Will Gholston.
Or Gholston, Bucs for life.
Right? Yeah, that's probably what he means. Gholston, Bucs for life. Thanks, Will. Yeah, I think it's important to clarify too. Again, we obviously talked a lot about Will Gholston. He was the guest on the show today. But Will was a 4th round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So, he's a guy that he didn't necessarily know was going to, 1, make the team, but 2, again, play for as long as he possibly can. Cam Brate, the other player that we spoke about a lot too. Cam was an undrafted free agent and is still playing after, you've seen a lot of turnover between coaches and tight ends as well too. So Will Gholston and Cam Brate, to a point, are underdogs. And of course,
you really are.
If you're going to play fantasy football, the best place to go to is Underdog Fantasy and their $10 million prize for Best Ball Mania. It's $10 million in prizes. So you could win it all in $10 million. You could win a little bit less. I know there was someone last year that won $2 million when they picked their team in June.
Yeah.
And folks, if you don't already know about it, Underdog Fantasy, they got, so many different events going on. They obviously have the $10 million Best Ball Mania, but they have different things going on too. If you don't want to get in on the grand prize, they're closing in on 41,000 people going to the Best Ball Mania tournament. You could do different leagues with your friends and family where you just do $3 games, $6 games, $5 games. You just put in that money and you set it and forget it. That's the fun part about these lineups is that, you don't have to worry about, a tough defense going on or this player has a bye week. So Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy football.
Matt, you had me at set it and forget it. That's what I love about it. Exactly. I don't have time during football season to go back and check my lineups and do trades and stuff. With this, I'm making my best guesses. It's best ball. So
optimal scoring.
Yeah, if you have 3 quarterbacks in your team, whoever scores the best, that's your quarterback points for the week. And that's what I love about Underdog Fantasy. And you're going to be hearing a lot more about Underdog Fantasy throughout the season as they're back as a season sponsor too. We appreciate all the support from our Pewter Report partners, including Celsius and Underdog Fantasy. Matt, this
one last thing, Scott. Just want to say, use the promo code Pewter for Underdog Fantasy, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. And we will be getting some Pewter Report leagues going on as the season gets closer. So you can play against me. You can play against Scott, Bailey, Casey, JC. You can play against all of us, and we'll be drafting teams. Might even do one on the show. We'll talk about that some other time. But again, use promo code Pewter. They'll match your deposit up to $100.
That's awesome. Matt, this has been an awesome week here on the Pewter Report podcast, and we appreciate everybody for tuning in and for watching us live. We appreciate the super chats. Also, we appreciate everybody who is not watching us live but are checking out the podcast versions. That's the cool thing about this is we're up on YouTube, And we even have one of those fancy schmancy YouTube channels. It's called Pewter Report TV. So we ask you to do a couple things. We ask you to subscribe to our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel. It's free. It says subscribe, but it's free. There's nothing other than hitting a button. And it helps boost our subscriber totals. We're almost at 8,500 now. Thanks to you, Pewter people out there. We appreciate every one of you. And we also ask that you like our videos. When you like our videos, like this Will Gholston interview, for example, or any of the great content that Matt clips from press conferences and puts up on our YouTube channel, or any of these Pewter Report podcasts, what does that do, Matt? Why do we ask people to like our videos? How does that help us?
It helps with our algorithm. Obviously, we're trying to get as many followers as we possibly can by training camp and the start of the regular season. But by helping the algorithm, it helps other people that might not know about Pewter Report and our YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV. It helps out other people, NFL fans, maybe Bucs fans that don't know about this. They can find all of our content. We had some Devin White videos go up today and earlier. We have a lot of podcast clips. We'll have plenty of Will Gholston clips coming up as well, too. So it just helps you get as much Bucs information as you possibly can with Pewter Report. And obviously, we got a ton of great content on pewterreport.com and a lot of different videos here on our YouTube channel. So we appreciate everyone watching. And we also appreciate this sponsor, Pin Chasers, which has been a longtime sponsor of the Pewter Report podcast. And their owner, Anthony Peroni, is a huge Bucs fan that has season tickets. So if you go to Pin Chasers, you're helping out a fellow Bucs fan. And of course, they have multiple locations, as you see on the screen here: East Pasco, Zephyr Hills, Midtown, and Veterans. They have one that's pretty close to the Advent Health Training Center, where the Bucs have their OTAs going on right now, and training camp, of course, and practice during the regular season. But it's a great night for friends and family. You can book a kid's birthday party there because they obviously have the bowling, but the arcade as well, too. The food is very underrated, and they have deals all the time, from all-you-can-eat pizza to all-you-can bowl, dollar, Miller Lights, and, of course, brunch on the weekends, too. So go to pinchasers.net to find out about all the great deals that they have and to reserve a lane or book a party. Again, that's pinchasers.net. All right, Scott, we've had a ton of great content today. Just an awesome conversation, a fantastic conversation, in my opinion, with Will Gholston. So let's just let everyone know about our lineup for next week. Obviously, it's a holiday weekend.
Yes.
So there will not be a podcast this Monday. We will have podcasts on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. That Tuesday one, we're getting right at it because it's week 3 of Bucs OTA. So we will have all of our reports and content coming from what we saw from Bucs OTAs. And then we will have a following podcast on Wednesday and Thursday of that week.
Yep, it's going to be fun. And we're going to have some more Buccaneer players, and we'll try to get some coaches on as well as the summer rolls on, and then also into the fall too. So we're going to have an exciting lineup of Buccaneer players, coaches, try to get some front office people on here as well. Our Pewter Report podcast is growing thanks to you. We greatly appreciate it. There won't be an SR's Fab 5 tomorrow, but we will have a Pewter Report roundtable on Saturday. Plenty of Bucs content too. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, during the holiday weekend. And then we'll have Bucs Monday mailbag. And like Matt said, we'll be right back at it. Folks, it's been fun. We appreciate you Pewter people more than you know. And we want everybody to have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. For Matt Matera, I'm Scott Reynolds. And we'll see you on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.
Have a great weekend. Out.